Welcome to Mortgage Lending Mastery, the world's longest running podcast in the mortgage industry. I'm your host, Lady Jen Du Plessis, with over 4 decades of mortgage, real estate, and financial services experience, providing the knowledge you need to advance your mortgage practice quickly and efficiently. Hey there, Lady Jen, back with another Jen's Jots. And this versus that, I guess. Sometimes I call it this versus that. Sometimes I call it Jen's Jots. Definitely not a monologue. My monologues will be much longer and more intense. But I want to talk to you today about whether or not you are the anchor or the engine in your business. This requires a lot of reflection, right? The man in the mirror from Michael Jackson. In fact, I did a retreat called Mirroring. I think it was Mirroring. I can't remember exactly what we called it, but all the songs were about the man in the mirror, looking in the mirror, making sure that you were, providing a mirror for your team members, but also mirroring yourself, and talking to yourself and making sure that you're the best that you can possibly be. And it made me start thinking about, whether or not you are the anchor in your business, because you talk about doing things. Part of my book, well, I'll say this, you talk about doing things, but don't actually put them into place. So sometimes you can be that anchor. You can be the thing that's holding you down. In my first book, Launch, How to Take Your Business to New Heights, we wanted to call it a name that I cannot use on my podcast, which was really how I felt. And I'll tell you the story about this too. And then went to, let's call it Stop Talking, Take Action, Get Results. Stop talking, take action, get results. And so we do have that embedded in the book just a little bit, but it really is a mantra or philosophy that I live by, is that, so here's the story. For years, I was in BNI. And in fact, I was an ambassador and I was president. I don't know how many times. And as soon as I didn't want to be president, someone else became president, and then they quit and I had to be president again. And oh my gosh, it was just a lot of it. But having those one-to-ones, and it really taught me a lot about one-to-ones. In fact, I have a course called Intro to Income. Sometimes I call it Cash to or Conversations to Cash. But the key is that as business owners, a lot of times we're meeting one another and we're not really getting anywhere in that conversation, right? We're just learning about each other, but not really taking notes, not following through, not really developing a strong, deep relationship. It's very superficial. And then I have clients that have said to me, I don't like networking because I don't get any business from it. Well, you don't. The idea is to get and identify relationships that you want to have, and then have an interview with them, which is a whole other conversation. And I've done many, many, many speeches and podcasts about this. But the anchor piece of this, when I was meeting with people at BNI, every single time I met with somebody in my BNI over and over, because I'd been in there for 7 years and many people had been there a long time, they were talking about the same thing every single time. Every single time. Well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, but they don't do it. In fact, I have a girlfriend who's a colleague, wonderful woman, love, love, love her. I won't say her name, but for the last 3 or 4 years, she's been talking about launching something. And I finally just said to her, at lunch not too long ago, I said, you've been talking about this for 3 or 4 years. When are you going to take action? Stop talking, take action, and get the results. So a lot of times we are our own anchor, and we have to look in the mirror and say, am I giving or am I acting on the counsel that I'm giving to other people? This is where that mirroring comes in, right? If I'm telling my team members to do X, Y, and Z, and I'm not doing X, Y, and Z, that's not good. If you're a coach or a speaker and you're telling your students, right, your clients to do X, Y, and Z, are you doing it? And this is a huge issue for me because it's about integrity. Integrity is one of the core values in my business, is that when I say I'm doing something, I'm doing it. If I ask you to do it, I'm doing it. If it makes sense for my business, sometimes it doesn't make sense because somebody else's business isn't as far along as mine, or maybe it's further along. I don't know. But I have to be true to that. And so this anchoring that we can be, if you're not where you want to be, is it you? Are you your own ball and chain? Are you your own anchor that's holding you back from getting to where you want to go? And so the opposite of that is being the engine. The stop talking is done. Now it's time to take action so that you can get the results that you want. And I found that anytime I take action, anytime any of my clients take action, or I see a colleague and I provide counsel and they take action, they get results. But it's the right action. It's not for the sake of it. I have a saying called, and I'll give you a quote here too. I have a saying called, don't eat soup with a fork, right? Stop eating soup with a fork, because what you're doing is activities, but you're not fulfilled. Your pockets aren't full. You're not satisfied, right? And there's a quote about, well, now I can't remember the quote. So if I can remember by the time I'm done with this episode, I'll let you know who it is. I don't know why I'm having one of those brain fades, but this is what happens sometimes. But the key is not to do activities for the sake of doing activities. You want to do the right activities to create the engine. In one of my previous Jen's Jots, I've talked about 212 degrees. At 211 degrees, water is super hot. But at 212, it starts to boil and it creates steam. Steam is what moves the engine, right? That steam. So it's looking at what is that one or two things that I've been needing to do, that I should do, that I've just got to, bog down, time block it, get it done, so that I can stop talking, take action, and then get those results. So it's about taking the right action at the right moment in your business. So often I see sequencing out of whack, right? It's not A to Z or 1 to 10. It's a mishmash of an alphabet soup, where we get so excited about seeing something that might be that magic thing that we were looking for to get our results, that we take ourselves off the train track, right? That engine stops, the steam stops, because we're like, oh, we need that. We need to take that. And it takes too much of our time, and we go down some rabbit hole or some way. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I think that sequencing is critical to keeping your engine moving forward. So yes, take on an idea, but maybe put it on what I call a parking lot, right? Where I put it on the side. I don't want to forget about it, but I don't want to take action on it today because it will derail me. There is a great trainer in the real estate business his name is Brian Buffini. And he talks about rumble strips, right? When you're driving down the road and you're not paying attention, and you get right, the rumble strips, and you go, oh yeah, coming back on here. So what are your rumble strips that are holding you back, that are keeping your engine from moving forward? And thinking about what's bogging you down every single day, so that you can keep that engine moving forward, so that you can function at 212 degrees and always have that steam, as opposed to the anchor that perhaps you are, in your business. So I wanted to share that with you today. So here's what I would recommend that you do, is take some time to figure out what are the activities that you're doing that are anchoring you and not getting results for you, whether it's administrative results or financial results or personal development results or team building results. And then look at the things that you are doing that are activities that are moving you forward, and do more of them and less of the others. Now, if you don't want to give up your anchoring activities, maybe it's time to look at how you could turn that anchor activity into an engine, right? A steam engine moving you forward activity. Maybe it's just one little tweak to it. Maybe it's a complete revamp of it. But looking at this and increasing the awareness is going to change your business dramatically. And that's what you're here to do. You are a business owner, and you're learning from the grapevine techniques and strategies that will propel your business forward. So hope this was helpful, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Thank you for joining Mortgage Lending Mastery. If you found value in today's conversation and would like to get support, simply go to supportfromjen.com. That's supportfromjen.com. or reach out to me on social media. Keep watching and listening for more insider secrets, stories, strategies, and ideas to help you become a master in your business.